And now we are on the final choices of our story here. So there are two choices: is to follow the rebel leader Lee by joining his army, or break into his residence and kill the swine demon. So after all we gone through, we realize is that it's the swine demon after all, the big bad enemy of this story. But the thing is, I really want to join the rebels ever since I met them. So what I'm going to do is break into the residence and kill the swine demon first without the help of the rebel army. And then after that path, I will go to the rebels, because that's what I really wanted to do. And I think that breaking the residence by myself is not really be a successful one, or there will be like a consequences on that, like being killed myself. And there's a higher chance that being in a rebel army will succeed, or like less damage on this one. So I will first go here. Okay, let's go. I'm excited and something. Since I was young, I dreamed of becoming a hero. With a bamboo hat on my head, a straw raincoat draped over my shoulders, and a single saber in my hand, I would ride through the wilderness, vanquish his foes in the rainy streets and alleys. To me, heroes and bandits seemed similar. Both were outlaws who resorted to force. However, bandits lack morality and principles. They're willing to do anything to survive in troubled times. Heroes, on the other hand, adhere to a code of ethics and principles, wielding their blades for justice and abiding by unwavering rules. Once I was a bandit, but now I'm a hero. I'm going to assassinate the swine demon to pay you back. Humbly expressed my thoughts to Mansui. I wanted to seize the moment of fervor and immediately execute the plan to assassinate the swine demon. Among all the adversaries in the world today, the swine demon was undoubtedly our sworn enemy. There was no doubt about it. Trading my life for his wouldn't be a loss. I've been a bandit for many years, and along the way I've heard many rumors about the swine demon. Since birth, the swine demon has lived a life of luxury. The old emperor from the Ming Dynasty favored him, spending fortunes to fatten him up. He was rewarded with 300,000 gold coins for his marriage, and his mansion was built with 10,000 more. After arriving in Luoyang, he was granted 20,000 hectares of fertile land, and every year he collected rent from the Central Plains, the Shan region, and the Jin region. With the money and resources he received, I wonder how many people worked tirelessly day and night, only to result in their own deaths. I wonder how many starving people's lives could have been saved. And him living only to propagate, to indulge for decades. He has spent his days locked in his chambers, drinking and indulging in women. In recent years, he even bought young girls from various places to celebrate his birthday, abusing them to death before devouring them alive. If I had continued to carry his job, perhaps you, Honger, Kure, and Kyunghwa would have all fallen victim to his cruelty. The thought of it disgusts me. I don't know how many years the swine demon has left, but for every year he lives, several young girls will die, and more farming families will be oppressed and starved to death. And that's why I want to use my life to take his. I want to assassinate him in his residence. I want to avenge you and me, and also rid the world of this great scourge. If I can accomplish this, then my life would have been worth it. I said to Mansui, slowly looking at her with unwavering determination. From this moment on, I no longer consider myself a bandit, but rather a hero. After listening to my remarks, she lowered her head and pressed her lips together, deep in thought for a while. After a long time, as if she had made up her mind about something, she began to talk again.
梁毅说的确实有道理，我的仇人不该只有你。说是细想，这是我家到如今这幅田地的。
Mansui let out a bitter smile while her eyes looked ahead, as if she was reminiscing about the
我家
past.
本来很守规矩的，每年都会按时交粮。然而， 那些收粮的官吏却因为邻居跑了，让我们来承担逃者的粮。没有粮，爹爹才要出远门卖传家宝。没有粮，我们一家人最后才会饿死。我后来也打听过，家里的耕地虽在闪地，却是和屯妖关系不浅的一个狗官管的，偷偷帮他多收些粮。他单单在中原地界征粮还不够，甚至邻近的三地也有人替他横征暴敛。这么说的话，普天之下很多人的家破人亡，到底也是他害的。
Mansui gritted her teeth and clenched her
爷爷，
fist.
我可以与你一言为定，若你真能杀了那屯妖，我们的仇怨便就此两清。而且，我必须要和你一起去。
She said to me, biting her lip, each word uttered with a resolute gleam in her eyes. I was relieved that she accepted my proposal atone for my sins, and that she was willing to call me Master Liang again. But I didn't understand. Why did she want to go with me? No, you have to stay alive. Don't get in to mess with me. You failed to assassinate me so many times. If you were to accompany me to assassinate the Swine demon, you'd only be a burden to me. I said to her with a cold tone, hoping to dispel her idea of going with me.
只有第一次算失败，后面都是我心软了才没有杀你。若我真想杀你，早就得手。
That's because you fooled me. I mean, you can't fool the Swine demon, right? Like, or maybe you could. Oh, maybe you could. He said angrily, seeming displeased with my words.
不说这个了，我觉得要杀屯妖这样的人，一定要智取，不能只靠蛮力。梁爷若是直接提刀从王府的正门闯入，能有多少胜算？先不说你可能根本就找不到那屯妖，哪怕你知道他在哪儿，你还要跟整个王府的守卫打，跟整个洛阳城的立足打。哪怕梁爷武艺高强，你能杀得过几个人？你杀得过几十个人、几百个人吗？
She threw her questions at me one by one. Her words indeed made me ponder. Indeed, I was not familiar with the layout of the residence, and I might not find the Swine demons at once. Even if I could find him and attempt at a direct assassination, it wouldn't be so easy to succeed. Although the security of the residence might be slightly weaker than that of the Imperial Palace in the capital, it wouldn't be weak by much. There would be surely highly skilled guards at the residence, and their numbers would be considerable. If I encountered them on my way to find the Swine demon, I would surely be delayed and likely be killed before long. In the end, I would only be throwing away my life in vain. You make a valid point. I indeed haven't considered these details. But do you have any ideas
没有
then?
啊。虽说我本来便想去刺杀那屯妖，但原本的计划根本没细想。我原本只是想碰碰运气，能杀屯妖便杀了他，不能杀他也正好陷害梁爷。不过，若是我能和梁爷一起去杀那屯妖，这2天我们可以好好讨论下。我动脑子，梁爷动手，我们2人一起，定能杀了那屯妖。
No, I still don't think you should
一
go.
定要去的，
No
不
way!
能不去。我若是不去，那不如现在就死了。
I paused. She was using her own life as a bargaining chip, which caught me off guard.
我不是在说笑，若是不去杀那屯妖，我也不知道今后该怎么活。
After she shouted at me, her expression softened, and she lowered her gaze as she
家
spoke.
人死的时候，我本想随他们一死了之。我能活这几年，都是为了替他们报仇。如今，我不杀梁爷这个仇人了，也愿意接受你的提案。那之后呢？那之后我要做什么？我没有家，没有想做的事，没有想去的地方。
Hey, go with the girls. You can go live with the girls and grow old with
与
them.
其如此，不如让我和你一起。我想全程跟着你，将你杀屯妖的每时每刻都看在眼里。最后，我们杀了屯妖后，在一起死。
Is this the ending that I choose? We'll die together. Mansui bit her lip and spoke firmly to me. As she spoke, a breeze picked up around us. It ruffled the surface of the lake, creating ripples and stirring up our clothes, which were still not completely dry. Getting windy, your clothes aren't dry yet. We'll catch a cold like this. Let's go, we can talk more at the inn. Mansui and I made it back to the inn. We changed our clothes and took a bath first, and then we stayed at the room at the inn. After some consideration, I accepted her proposal. I could understand her perspective. I'm homeless, drifting through this chaotic world. Without a purpose to drive me forward, I might have lost my way long ago. It was the same. For both of us, living felt like being half dead and hanging on a thread. Perhaps for both of us to die gloriously, using our lives to do what we most wanted to do, would be the best outcome. Thus, I was curious to hear her plan. Despite being younger than me, she had a sharper mind. Maybe she could come up with a better plan to assassinate the swine demon. After that, I told Mansui that I was willing to let her join the plan to assassinate the swine demon. So that evening, we didn't do anything else but discuss how to carry out the assassination in the room at the inn. She had a sharp mind and came up with many plans. She would propose each plan and I would offer my opinions and ideas one by one. Occasionally, I would also share my own plans with her. Finally, we briefly discussed the issue of escaping after assassinating the swine demon. However, no matter how much we discussed, it seems challenging to escape from Luoyang after completing the mission. It appeared that the assassination mission was a journey of a certain death, with a little hope of survival. Bleakly and weakly the wind blows, cold the year river flows, the valiant man once gone never comes back. In that sense, it seems like Jing Ke, the assassin who attempted to kill the Qin Shi Huang. Thus, after the assassination, they would likely be branded as traitors for decades, and perhaps centuries later, they might be remembered as the figures in the annals of assassins. However, those assassins in the history books probably didn't have partnerships quite like ours. Really, oh, it's a shadow play. On the second day, we nearly finalized the plan. Mansui thought it over and settled on the plan that suited us best. The plan was related to a shadow play, something both and she and excellent at. We should assassinate the swine beast while performing the shadow play for him. Mansui's meticulous planning didn't stop at just devising the main plan. She also came up with numerous backup plans related to it. Her plans were intricate, considering every possible contingency to prevent failure due to insufficient intel or inadequate preparation. Over the next 3 days, we made preparations for the assassination. I trained her in drawing the sword and assassination techniques, and she helped me anticipate how to disarm guards if encountered, how to delay and create opportunities for her. We made various concealments and traps for cover, hid the blades in unexpected places, and we repeatedly rehearsed a shadow play routine prepared for the assassination. On the 4th day, we strolled through the market together and toured around Luoyang. In the evening, I took her to one of the best restaurants in Luoyang, spending most of my remaining silver pieces to treat her to a lavish meal. She ate heartily and almost licked the plates clean, praising it the best meal she had ever had. After finishing, she couldn't stop burping. That amused me, so I mocked her, making her blush and laugh in embarrassment. Seeing her with a full stomach, I actually felt a sense of happiness. A slight smile even formed at the corners of my mouth without me noticing. The Last Supper. On the second day after that meal, which was the 6th since we arrived in Luoyang, we finally embarked on our assassination plan. Holding onto the token from Yin-san, I retrieved the address he had left for us, and after some inquiries, took Mansui to meet the informant for the swine demon. The informant was a fat guy with dark skin who owned a porcelain shop near the swine demon's residence.
你就是影三派的那个人。
The dark fat guy squinted his eyes and glanced at me. Yes, it's
你
me.
叫石星，
No, I'm not Shishing, I'm Yang, his
那
partner.
石星在哪儿？
Shishing's
小
dead.
娃呢？怎么我就看到一个？
That's because there's only one left. It's a long story, but our journey here wasn't exactly smooth. Shishing and the 3 kings are all dead. As we were about to leave the Hua mountain, 3 large insects suddenly appeared. The insects first bit Shishings to death, then chased me and the other girls. I left behind 2 girls and took 2 with me, barely escaping from the jaws of the large insects. However, after that, one of the girls seems to be too frightened. It was as if she had lost her soul and she barely spoke along the way. Later, that girl fell ill and died in Shanzhou, and now this girl is the only one left. I explained the fabricated story to the fat guy. At the same time, I pointed to Mansui hiding behind me.
你们这一路也是惨啊！不过现在这要如何是好啊？只剩一个小娃子，没法向老爷交差啊。
The dark fat guy thumped his chest, sighing with concern.
不用慌，我能交差的。
This moment, Mansui, who had been hiding behind me, stepped
其
forward.
他孩子要懂事，要乖，还会一些才艺，一定能让老爷满意的。
She appeared obedient and shy in her tone.
哦，这女娃子倒是长得俊啊，也看着乖。哼，我一看便知道，老爷会喜欢这样的娃子。
Disgusting!
可是我还是担心呐，只是丢了一个女娃还好，这只剩下一个了，这可难交差呀。
Bro, let's have a chat in private. Seeing the dark fat cat looking troubled, I tried to pull him aside and tried to convince him. He looked at me and nodded, and we went to the dark corner of the porcelain shop. As I entered the room with the dark fat cat, I noticed Mansui giving me a signal. He was probably reminding me to be more cordial with the person, to learn more about how Tang talked to people as we had agreed before, and that I shouldn't be too cold. I took a deep breath. For a plan, I had to play the role of Tang as well. Bro, now that we're away from her, there are some things I need to talk to you about.
你想聊什么？
I'm actually aware that the master wants the girls to warm the pillows. After warming the pillows, the master will probably get rid of these girls since he isn't planning to raise them long term, right? Pulled the dark fat guy away from Mansui, whispering to him softly and mimicking Tang's tone, I remembered.
暖枕撕了？你在乱说些什么？这都是谁给你传的胡话？
The dark fat guy seemed surprised by my words. However, his tactic skills were poor and it was obvious he was pretending. Bro, calm down. This matter isn't easy to hide. It will come out sooner or later. Yin-san didn't tell us, but friends of Shishing have already informed us about this job. But you can rest assured, we are very discreet. We know the seriousness of this matter and we dare not to speak a word about it.
你知道多少？
Not much, just that this job is for that purpose. How do I know about the rest? Besides, I have a forgetful nature. After completing this job, I forget all about it.
不知道就好，忘了也好。你想的这些事儿传出去也没人会信，有人信也不会有人管。这事儿太大了，倒不是说担心老爷，没人能管他，只是这事儿若是走漏了风声，你我都会死。
Noted, noted.
行，那就当你送的女娃是用来暖枕的吧。你既然知道他们是这等用途的，应该也明白为何只交上一个难交差了吧？不知你去过寻乐的地方没？要知道，雇一个女子来暖枕，与雇4个相比，这完全是不同的场面呐。
The dark fat guy sighed, looking a bit troubled. His words made me feel a bit uneasy. However, I had to continue playing the role of town to avoid arousing suspicion. Bro, of course I know about this. I've been in some of the town's red light districts and understand the situations. But in my humble opinion, having one person to warm the pillow isn't necessarily worse than having 4.
你有什么高见呢？说来听听。
Generally speaking, warming the pillows is just an experience. Perhaps the master thinks having just one girl might get boring, which is why he always wanted several. But if one girl can provide the master with a fresh and satisfying experience, then the presence of other girls actually becomes irrelevant. This remaining girl is very special, exceptionally so. It's creeping me out, this conversation.
她哪里特别啊？若只是长得好看、性子乖，这算不得特别。老爷这么多年，什么样的没见过？
She has a special talent for shadow play, and she's exceptionally good at it. Okay. I spoke slowly, and this finally piqued the interest of the dark path guy. Why are you describing this like this and the chubby guy? He seems somewhat surprised that I brought this up. The girl comes from a well-known theater troupe in the sound of Shanxi. She learned a lot of shadow plays from her father since childhood. Throughout her journey, she performed shadow play for me and even taught me how to do it. I've been watching her performance and know she's good at it. The master comes from a wealthy and cultural background. I believe he must be interested in various forms of opera, including shadow play. We can send the girl over and let me perform for a shadow play with the girl for the master. After the performance, while the master is still in the mood, he can dismiss the attendants and give her personal instructions on the stage. The dark path guy listened to my proposal and pondered for a while with a stern face. I looked at him nervously, waiting for his response. If he thought the idea of the shadow play was unfavorable or knew that the swine demon didn't appreciate it, we'd have to proceed with the little brat's second plan. The second plan was riskier and harder to carry out. I hoped that he could choose this plan.
好，这个想法倒是不错。
Yeah, we're all set. As I nervously looked at the dark fat guy, he suddenly spoke up, praising my proposal in a loud voice.
小弟呀，没想到你还挺懂我们家老爷的。老爷平生最爱的便是戏曲。记得10几年前，他还不喜欢小娃子的时候，便整日要找戏子给他唱戏。
Oh, really?
那会儿啊，他找了一个会唱粉戏的兔爷。他让那兔爷穿着戏装，一边唱一边和他探讨至深。
Master Rabbit, I like it.
这么想的话，哎呦喂，老爷还没怎么听过影子戏，能唱影子戏的小女娃更是闻所未闻呐。
Good, then I'll leave that to you, bro. But there's another matter. I wonder if it's convenient to ask. I know things didn't go smoothly this time and we lost some kids. We definitely made mistakes. But I will work hard to make up for it, keeping an eye on that girl and ensuring the master enjoys himself. If the master is satisfied in the end, how much silver pieces do you think I could get, bro? I hesitantly asked the dark fat guy, looking a bit embarrassed. Once he taught me that I need to look greedier to get rid of his suspicions. The dark fat guy started eyeing me a few times. He's gradually relaxed from seriousness to amusement, his eyes filled with a smile.
我就知道你想问这个。活在当今世道啊，谁能不爱财呢？
Yeah, being dirty is the only way to communicate with these guys.
放心，老爷不是缺钱的主，他能满意是最重要的。我估摸着，若是他能满意的话，赏就不赏你了，罚也不会罚多少。就给你算2个小娃子的钱吧，你看怎样？怎么，嫌不够啊？那我得明天问问老爷，或许也能给你算3个小娃子的钱，顶多就这样了。
So it really depends on her performance, huh? Alright, thanks, bro. That seems a bit low, especially since I have to split the money with Yun-san. There's hardly any profit in two. Could you please mention it to the master as much as possible? 3 would be ideal.
行，那我提去。今天就先这样，你回去等着消息吧。
Alright, I wait for it.
对了，这10两钱给你。
What styles? Oh, what is this for?
不明白啊？影三他们难道没给你讲过吗？
What is it? I didn't really get why the Dark Father gave me these 10 tiles all of a sudden. However, he quickly explained the purpose of these 10 tiles for me.
怎么跟你说呢？看来你还真是第一次做人牙子呀。这个在我们这一行呢，有个规矩， 若是最后会送小娃子走，那便要给他花一笔善钱。人各有各的命，唱戏的小娃子被卖给老爷，那便是他的命。这个，你带他吃点好的吧，啊，他享了这辈子从没享过的福，没白在人间走一遭，我们也算是做了善事嘛。
Oh, freaking tiles. Wow. Dark part guy side. Adopting a compassionate expression and slip the 10 tiles of silver pieces into my hand. That's so screwed up. I took 10 tiles from him and clenched them in my hand. Alright, I understand. Bro, you're truly kind-hearted. I learned something today. I smiled at the dark fat guy, praising his kindness. However, deep down, I felt nauseated as if I had swallowed a fly. That's really nauseating, what he has just said. After parting ways with the dark fat guy, I reunited with Mansui. So that's why Tang suddenly spent a lot with the girls. So like a tiles to them. Oh my gosh, cleaning her conscience when like treating them nicely before sending them to their doom. Holding her hand, we left her personal shop and strolled along the streets of Luoyang.
都谈妥了吗？
Yeah, it's settled. Now we just have to wait for the news. Oh, mimicking how Tang talks is really tiring.
梁爷学的像不像啊？学给我看看呗。
Nope. By the way, you gave us the money again just now. Let's just go to the restaurant again and have a meal. Okay. Our very last supper. Mansui nodded, happily tightening her grip on my hand. So instead of heading straight back to the inn, we went back to the restaurant we visited yesterday. Tonight, it was our second visit to the restaurant in Luoyang. This time we ordered roast goose and fish. We had 10 tiles of silver pieces, which slightly less than yesterday, but it was still enough for a decent meal. After placing our order, the chef brought out the fish and roast goose. I split the roast goose in half, keeping half to myself and other half to Mansui. After eating the fish for a while, she flipped the fish over and suddenly mentioned she wanted to try the taste of wine. So I ordered a pot of wine for her to try a little. I had thought that after yesterday we wouldn't be able to eat well again. Yet unexpectedly today, because of hypocrisy of that dark part guy, we had another good meal. That's life, perhaps. We often encounter unexpected sorrows, but also unexpected joys. The unexpected joy today seems to remind me of the beauty of being alive, even making me a bit afraid of that looming ahead. After all, once a person dies, everything becomes predetermined and no longer know what unexpected joy awaits us in the future, if any. However, after pondering for a moment, I drank the wine Mansui hadn't finished and stopped thinking about it. I must kill the swine demon. I must repay the debt I owed to Mansui. The outcome of repaying the debt is more important than my life. The process of repaying the debt is also my dream. Are we gonna kill the swine demon or are we gonna fail? The next afternoon, we paid another visit to the dark fat guy. He informed us that the swine demon had some business to attend to and would only be available to meet us the following day. So we have to wait another day. This time we didn't have money to squander at a fancy restaurant. I took Mansui to have a simple bowl of noodle soup and we spent the day together. That evening she shared more about her life with me, and I shared mine with her. Okay? Meeting the swine demon is... Another day had passed. Finally, there was a news from the dark fat guy. The swine demon agreed to meet us and willing to pay me for 2 kids initially. 2 kids only? I thought we decided to be 3 kids. If he was satisfied in the end, he would reward me with a pay for additional kid. Okay, now we're getting it. The dark fat guy had to check out our performance first and see if we were alright. In the afternoon, the dark fat guy summoned us to his private residence to our watch play. After he was satisfied with the content of our performance and gave us some instructions, he arranged for us to perform for the swine demon at his residence the next day. It's only then that he revealed to us that the master behind the scenes was actually the esteemed lord, and he also taught us some necessary etiquette. On the second day after that, which is the 9th day, we arrived in Luoyang. The dark fat finally took us to meet the swine demon. We first met outside the Swine Demon's residence, but he didn't take us through the main entrance. Instead, he cautiously led us through some back alleys and entered the residence through a small gate in the back. Wow. Oh, hi! As we entered through the small gate, we walked through straight the residence rear garden. Along the way, I saw many vibrant flowers and strange creatures that I couldn't name.
梁爷，你看那个。
After walking for a while, Mansui suddenly raised her hand and pointed into the distance. In the direction she pointed, there were several deer grazing in their heads down. These 3 deer looked exceptionally beautiful, unlike any deer I had seen in the forest before. They had short antlers and were covered in plum-shaped spots. 2 were large and 1 was small, appearing to be a family. They seemed quite intelligent, initially grazing their heads down. They immediately raised their heads to look in our direction upon hearing Mansui's call, showing little fear of humans.
这是王爷养的仙鹿，养了好几年了。那个小娃子呀，若是你把戏演好喽，明日王爷能让你凑近些看看。
哇，那谢谢老爷，谢谢王爷。
The dark fat guy looked kindly at the deer in the distance, making a promise to Mansui. Mansui smiled, responding oblivious to the dark fat guy. According to what we said before, Mansui would probably be dead by today, right? What tomorrow would there be? However, Mansui remained composed. She knew that the dark fat guy was lying to her, yet she still put on a look of anticipation for the next day. He was indeed much better at acting than I was. The dark fat guy led us forward, passing through a beautifully landscaped courtyard and arrived at a secluded rear hall. This hall was somewhat remote, situated adjacent to the rear garden with a sign hanging on the door that read Elegant Music Hall. Upon entering the hall, Mansui and I couldn't help but look around. The layout of the hall was quite unique, with a stage in the middle and wooden shelves either side displaying various calligraphy, jade artifacts, and porcelain. These items looked expensive and were likely antiques collected by the Lord. In contrast to the shelves filled with treasures, the stage in the middle of Elegant Music Hall seems relatively empty. There were only a few seats placed below the stage, and an ancient zither was placed horizontally on the stage. The dark fat guy called over 2 servants and instructed them to remove the ancient zither. Then the servants placed a long bench on the stage for us to sit on. They invited us to take a seat on the bench and said we could begin setting the process shadow play performance. So we cautiously walked onto the stage and arranged the props. The 2 maid servants brought us tea and water. The 2 maid servants were very beautiful and unique. They were identical twins, born deaf and mute. Oh! The dark fat guy mentioned that the Lord was currently bathing and changing clothes, so we were to prepare in the meantime. Mansui and I began our preparations. I set up the white curtain, opened the wooden box, and started organizing the items we would use later. Some were for the performance, while the others were for assassination. I looked for the small figures lying askew in the box. I glanced up and saw the shadow concealed behind the white curtain's frame. I knew there was a blade hidden there. I let out a deep breath. For some reason, I couldn't seem to calm down. My heart raced, cold sweat formed on the forehead, and nervousness caused my hands to tremble. I tried to take the figurine out of the wooden box, but I could only grasp the box, trembling hands while staring blankly. I was probably scared. Initially, I thought of myself as someone who had been through enough. I had traveled no more places and experienced more things than many people today. However, after walking through such well-maintained residence, seeing so many treasures and servants, I found myself actually getting scared. Could the swine demon be easy to kill as we imagined? Did someone like me really assassinate someone of his high status?
梁爷，
Come on, he only got high status, but you got the skills, bruh. My hands trembled uncontrollably. I heard Mansui softly calling my name. I froze, staring blankly at her. She gazed back at me, reaching out her delicate hand to grasp mine. Her eyes were shimmering. I could sense her message through her gaze. She was telling me, don't be afraid. The gentle warmth of her touch gradually calmed me down. I regulated my breathing, steadying my heartbeat, trying best not to let anyone around me notice my unease. Unexpectedly, in this critical moment, she remained even more composed than I did. No, I couldn't be afraid. I couldn't afford to be afraid.